Test. Good. Hello. Let's go.
Whoop, there you go. How's it going, Sam?
Hey, Mike.
All right. Let me pull up your email and then notes doc, and then we can kick it off. Uh, okay. All right.
What do you think this
Um,
call's about, Postma?
you had a short little agenda um, in the email. Before we get going, I did finally manage to touch base with Zach. He replied at one point. And he gave me a couple of times. I kind of I poked him back and like Friday works for me, but then I haven't heard anything since. So I may be meeting with him tomorrow or not. We'll find out.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Um, yeah, do you want to take it away?
I'll take it away.
You take it away. All right.
The business is at an inflection point. I can't get Zach to work. You guys are busy. The network nodes are taking dang longer than I'd like to attach, like Hydro Flask and LK and the path waters, etc.
Hmm.
Then I hurt my hand bad in a bicycle accident. So I had a CT scan with the disc X-ray, and I have an appointment on Sunday. But it's hurting so bad where it was, if it's broken, I would have to cancel this upcoming trip to Los Angeles, where I'm going to get the tap bottles that you and Steven worked on. That got me thinking, how do I make this more scalable, right? Because imagine of me flying all the way to the United States to get 576 bottles, to sell them for, call it a buck profit, the $2 profit max, to make what, $1,000? It costs me
Hmm.
more to fly there. This is a bad use of my CEO time. And when that constraint happens, I get like super creative. So I was like, okay, what do I do here? How do I how's my time worth $5 million, not $2 a bottle?
500. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then I see another company in water tech that I want to invest in. Then there's a smart meter that's made. Then there's a smart bottle, and there's all these network nodes, and there's two strategies. This is defined in Chris Dixon's book called Read, Write, Own. And the two strategies are the corporate network and the corporate protocol and the network protocol. Are you familiar with this?
No, but
The
I'm super
corporate
intrigued.
the corporate protocol is what I've tried to do for 7 years, and you and
Hmm.
Steven tried before that, which is run a company like Twitter, like Instagram, like Facebook, like Tesla, where there's a CEO at top. I could invest or acquire all of these companies, put them under one tap brand, have thousands of employees rolling up to one strong man.
Hmm.
And then there's the network protocol, which is Satoshi Nakamoto, which is Vitalik Buterin, where they invert it and they make it a network of nodes connected, a circle of each stakeholder, as opposed to one pyramid
Hmm.
of control. And the main reason is because it gives the network nodes an incentive to attach, and it requires far less capital, and it's far faster. So here I am ordering the bottle, and I'm thinking to myself, we just have to make it and then people see it. As soon as people see that bottle, when I walk into the cafe and I say to them, hey, would you sell this bottle just like you and Steven did in the OG days of trying to sell an empty bottle? As
Hmm.
soon as you walk in with a pre-filled bottle, they're like, how much? $1.50? And I sell it for $3? Okay, no problem. Great. But it will require becoming like a beverage company if you're operating in the corporate structure. And that's why even when Liquid Death went to London, they pulled out because their supply chain was moved from Austria to the United States because water is heavy to ship. So it was killing their margin when that container got lodged in the Panama Canal. So
Hmm.
that was what forced them to move to the US. So it's not even mountain water anymore. And they didn't even go to London because they have such a big market in the United States. To try to go overseas makes no sense for them. So even Liquid Death is running the last of the corporate playbook, a truly decentralized refill network, meaning the bottlers bottle it in London or in Halifax or in Los Angeles or San Antonio. And the decentralized of the refill stations, that then requires Cap itself, the corporation, to decentralize, to to have a corporate treasury on the blockchain, because we're putting a water machine is a ATM. It will have an address and a wallet on the blockchain. It will have money that it makes that it needs to distribute out to people in a that has a contract. And in the corporate structure way, when a research student messages me and says, "Can we get access to your database?" We're like, "Yeah, how much are you going to pay for it?" Like Twitter and a developer access, versus if it's truly open, we are writing to OpenStreetMaps and all the other ones because we've made the API freely available. People can take our code. People can build apps on top of it, like restroom finders or fire hydrant finders, because there's something unifying them all together, which is a coin, a token, a coin, tap,
Hmm.
TAP. We moved from $ TAP, a publicly traded company, to hashtag TAP, just like hashtag BTC or hashtag ETH.
Yeah, I've never done that before. So I honestly, it's intriguing, but my mind just goes, where do you even start to make that transition? You know what I mean?
Thank God, Tap investors built a company called Bison Trails, and they sold it to Coinbase. So they're early in blockchain. I just called up a friend, Jameson, who is a Tap investor who has been telling me about this for 2 or 3 years. He's connected with all of the chain. What's the name? Either Chain Analytics. I forget the name of the company. Big in the blockchain space, based in Puerto Rico. I've got connections here in Israel, and I just start assembling the smartest people. That includes you and Steven, because it finally gives all of the participants a reason to connect. It's the way for me to reach out to Waterminder, Water.io, the Restroom Finder app built by the agency. They're really good at iOS. We always said we need to find out
Hmm.
iOS dev shop. They're the iOS dev shop. You and Steven, who helped me on the open source of the designs or the interconnectivity of the website and the API, potentially even Zach, although it's frankly been really hard to get him moving on things. We make the bottle design that Steven made open source. We have a biz dev team reach out to the bottlers about why they bottle it. Obviously, I'm still in the process of writing a white paper, but I'm also in the process of reaching out to tap investors, telling them about the change of strategy from a corporate protocol to a network protocol and what that means. But so far, the response has been positive and no joke, like, I get it now level. Like, in hindsight, it all makes sense.
Yeah. So walk me through because you've given some thought clearly. What's the like what are the things that need to happen to make the transition? Like where would you start? The
I would start with the API because one of the things that you do in a white paper is write about participants, and having Apple as our participant, as like the major company that has integrated our API, is a huge validation.
Mhm,
So as that becomes more available of restrooms and sinks and showers, and we become the water API, we start there because that has been the most positive reception of working with us. You also then write a white paper. It leads towards a launching a token. Thankfully, there are more and more services that do this. Pump.fun, I believe, is one of them.
mhm,
It you like it's like a what was that product hunt for coins. Coinbase just said nope, we're no longer remember, I don't know if you saw this, like Coinbase used to have like an app store like permission process of yes or no you can go on, and now they remove that, so now the store's open. So it's just like the gears are turning, and it's like it's the timing is right. A lot of the crypto projects that were fakers were wiped out of the market. So it's also like we're still around. We survived the winter there.
mhm.
So it's really like having conversations just like doing this, which is like, hey, here's the approach of strategy and here's why. So I want to have a few more of those conversations. I'm going to go to LA, have a conversation with Taps, one of Taps early investors, and then it's like raising, like, God willing, like raising like a $5 million round from crypto investors to who want to build a decentralized water utility, and getting that, like starting to assemble a team. It's like what you said to me is like, call me up if you got that $5 million check. It's like, okay, I think this strategy might allow for it. And the main reason is I just could not get these network nodes to attach. There was no reason unless I would buy them. And
Mhm.
I was like, I'm not going to rate. If I had $1 billion tomorrow, I would. But then we're managing all these people. And I was like, it's too much work. It's too much time. It's too much money. So I was like, this is the only way to do it.
Yeah. But so you're still
If you're asking me, by the way, the ins and outs, I should be very direct sometimes. If you're asking me the ins and outs of the coin and stuff itself, I have to learn more.
yeah, that's
I'm a
yeah.
traditional Web 2 product person that understands Web 3, but I'm not an expert in any way.
Yeah. No, but I get where you're going with. I mean, you initially use it as a fundraising tool during the initial distribution phase, and then
Because you're selling the tokens to the venture
eventually,
capitalists as
yeah,
well.
yeah. But then eventually, you're attaching utility to it, where it becomes the currency within the network. I get that. I get that portion of it. I think that clearly that works. It's been proven. Like others have done similar things. I'm familiar with the that industry and how that works. Um, but then in terms of further decentralizing, you're raising the funds, it goes into what I presume would be like a treasury type of situation. The governance, if you will, of the network initially, I would assume still remains with you, Tap. Like there's still this is how a lot of these things kind of launch, right? Like you launch the token, if you will, but that's a way to collect
I'd want to
funds.
work. I would imagine that Tap will, of course, have an interest in working with Wonder on doing this.
Yeah, yeah,
So you know more than me at this point in the conversation.
yeah. I'm it's a new approach. I'm really just kind of thinking out loud, if you will. Um, but yeah, this is what I would picture, right? Is that's the approach you would take. You're essentially starting a three with the you park the funds, and these funds pay for the development, which initially is governed and kind of steered from still a centralized point, um, but over time you start to introduce more decentralization. It's typically the typical approach that you see people take, where um, you know you start by releasing, like the development still kind of happens centralized, but then you open up the governance so people start to be able to vote for where are we taking things, like
So,
what what are we adding, and
for example, should we focus on our water delivery product? We can also make jackets for our delivery drivers that are tap blue designed. The
Mhm.
community, the app can become more like a game in terms of logging the refills. You get coins now that means something. There's all different things on that in terms of the product roadmap. It it seems to me that we will also figure out what is the incentive to the bottling companies, right? Like we're like I changed my Twitter bio. I'm a water miner now.
Yeah.
That's what we do now. We mine water. How do we mine and move water? That's how we think about it now,
Hmm.
right? Like people who mine digital gold made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we're gonna mine water now. So I I'm halfway through the conversation. I don't know what to do next because, like I said, uh, I think you're far more knowledgeable about this. Just your response alone for me, I wasn't sure because I was like, I've had these types of ideas before, and it's like, that's one's, and it was like, not you're not speaking gibberish. This makes sense. And I think where I need help the most is writing the white paper for the investment round, talking to people, showing them the vision of the products that we've discussed, from the refill stations themselves, the stuff that you designed with Steven, the end caps, the tap gift cards for buying water, the water ATM in Africa called e-water pay, that is an IoT device for dispensing water, a skinned water ATM, which those are all various ones, water delivery businesses. It's really giving people a visual. Now, I've done some prompting in like ChatGPT
Hmm.
to generate some of these images. They always kind of get weird designs and whatnot, but it's also then the information about technically how this works. I don't know enough about it, and I recognize that I want to work with you and Steven on this and Wonder as you grow, as we grow, because now you are your own network, the Wonder team.
Hmm.
You are a network node that's attaching. If I can get that, I think it's called Better Tomorrow Agency, who does iPhone only. Hey, we want you to exchange this IP of this restroom app to the project or however that works, or change your logo. Like, I don't know how to get them to attach, but we will. Water.io, the same. It's like all these companies, I think the reason too that they will do this, in addition to an economic incentive, is their cost of acquiring users is very expensive across all of these brands. They don't have a unified brand that then allows them to be recognizable on the shelf. They have to do a lot of marketing actually to educate the consumer base too. And the channels like Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, even newsletters and billboards are all kind of like what's the word, efficient now. There's no like arbitrage. So I
Mhm.
think that they would consider this as a means of lowering their cost of acquiring customers. So what I would like to do is like I think our next step, like, okay, where do we go? Great idea. It's like the API. I wrote this in a white paper. I will share it with you and Stephen as contributors. And it's right updating that white paper, me going on the road, talking to these people, and depending, Mike, on where you and Steven see yourselves, like I feel like I can be the founder and a huge evangelist, but I feel you're going to be technically a lot further ahead than me. And that might be an opportunity if this whole thing goes that way.
Mhm. Yeah, mind you, I mean, I'm active in that space and I dabble there, um, but as a user, as an observer, if you will, not as a builder, right? So I know enough to
You're
be
an
somewhat
You're
dangerous.
Mike. I know, but that's all you need. You're more dangerous than me. You are a hacker slash engine, hacker slash engineer with an eye for design. You and Steven had the original idea, and it's at a point where it's like it. I can always be Elon, but there's Linda Yaccarino, or there's some CEO of Tesla or SpaceX or
Mhm.
whatever, like there's always someone under him in that way. And I can be that founder evangelist, but the technical side of this could be beyond me.
Yeah.
Just being candid.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I I have to genuinely wonder if it's beyond me.
No, you're
I
no.
I
Stephen
mean
Flynn
it.
said Stephen Flynn said to me in that restaurant, "This is
Yeah, but
Zuck
that guy
over
says
here."
weird
So,
stuff, man. That
yeah, right.
you can't take that guy too seriously.
I take that guy very seriously. He said it he said it passionately, and I knew he was serious, and stayed with me for what, 5 years now. For I don't
Yeah.
even know when that dinner was.
I know that feels a very long time ago.
Yeah, you need another part in Hollywood.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, that career never went anywhere.
career is will take off.
Um, yeah, all right. Um,
Next steps. You guys are helping me with the design. Those bottles now are better as 576 samples to send to a prospective investor or a bottling plant or whatever than they
yeah.
are if I've already asked the store owner here, and he was like, yeah, no brainer, right? So I don't need, unless I'm selling those like one pallet at a time and I can try to do that, it's not necessary. It's like those bottles are great inventory. I'll put them into storage. LA and San Francisco is the epicenter of this. Um, it's really about that data. I think that data hierarchy project with this in mind, which is
Mhm.
because we want, if we added all of those other water types from even OpenStreetMaps and made it available as an open API and let people start building on it, or writing to OpenStreetMaps updates or whatever, we start to have the network nodes attaching digitally that um, makes the investment dollars even more enticing. Um, Helping think through the economics of what tokenomics are for, what does a bottling plant get for selling a bottle of water? What does the station get who sold it? What does the consumer get who refilled it? Where does it all flow through? Is it every token is relative to one refill? Do you one day watch advertisements to earn coins as well in the app itself? Like,
Mhm.
does Tap fund documentaries because there's Tap TV that's just frankly a published YouTube stream, and you're just programmatically, like, I don't know if you saw, Tap is making podcasts programmatically and publishing to the podcast store.
I haven't seen that, no.
It's all with AI.
Yeah.
It's called Tapped In, TAP apostrophe D in the pot and the Spotify and Apple store.
I'll have to look it up. Tapped in on Spotify. I will have a look once we jump off. Yeah. So I'm trying to wrap my head around because this is what I've and this is not just specific to Tap. This is any blockchain startup that I see out there. 90% of them you could do exactly as a regular company with normal dollars. Once you take the token out and you're like, nothing really changes. It's just the token is just a means of exchange and it's kind of like a branded thing. Um, and that's all it is. Everything like there's nothing inherently decentralized about any of it. And that, it's I struggle with seeing the like what makes it decentralized. Like the because that's where you ultimately really want to go, right?
Be, be, because Chameleon Beverage does not own equity in the tap water system.
Mhm.
They make cash from the tap water system, right?
Yeah.
But what's their equity?
Yeah. Yeah. So you're using the token almost as shares, if you will. But then are you envisioning anything else lives on an actual blockchain, or we're not going that far? We keep the infrastructure, the app, and all of that. It's in traditional
No, we go the
kind
whole
of
way.
places.
We go the whole way. I don't even know the difference between how we would put things on the blockchain versus the go the whole way.
Yeah, me neither. But
Like like Bitcoin is beyond Satoshi now, right?
yeah, yeah, but
And and is
it's purely
Ethereum
a means
beyond?
of it's a means of exchange or storing value, right? Like that.
Yeah, so okay, our stations can accept Bitcoin, right? Like via the Lightning
Yeah.
Network.
I think I mean again, like I don't know enough of the inner workings to really say too much meaningful stuff, but I know of fairly large size projects and companies who are doing similar things. Um, World Mobile Token is like World Mobile is the name of the company, and they have World Mobile Token. Is like a very big uh project that is around the world where they're essentially trying to upset the telecom industry, and they're decentralizing access um to that type of infrastructure, and people can buy equipment, put it on their house to kind of build this network. They have that token as a means of exchange. Like it's looking into those types of companies, I think would be interesting to just see what are
Yeah.
they doing, how are they setting it up, what does their white paper look like, and to get a better understanding. Because again,
But I think
I
that's
don't know
the
enough to
I think that's what Tap wants to work with you and Steven on with Wonder on.
yeah
I your technical capabilities are beyond mine. I won't understand the nuances like you will. You're better than me. So yeah,
yeah
you're better. Like I think I think it also looks at increasing Wonders. Is it an equity position that before this gets, in terms of the tokens that you have incentive to work on this? That's part of what I need to understand too. But it's a much at some point. No, I don't want to have a corporate structure at all.
Mhm.
I think it would be would it not be a DAO?
yeah yeah
So so I don't know how that works, how we make that transition. And I imagine there are lawyers or advisors that help to do that. But that's what I think this company needs at this point. I think that is what the next move is. We can, I will still pay from the corporate standpoint for the changes to, for example, the API, because from the corporate standpoint, that gets it further. But the transition, I would say, happens, it could happen within 3 months if crypto folks just snap at this. It could happen within 6 or 9. I don't know, but it's my focus.
Mhm.
And I obviously, you know that you and Steven are part of this team. You have been from the beginning. So it has the potential to attract substantial interest. And the conversations that I'm having now are talking with our existing investors about that, about making that transition, how
Yeah.
to do it. I don't need their approval. It's just more like socializing and getting their support.
Yeah. But you mentioned they have connections that have done similar things. They work in this
What like
space and
Andreessen Horowitz, NFX, the woman who launched Libra at Facebook. I
yeah.
can get if I'm like, yo, talk to Mike, I can just rapid fire people at you that are leading a like Major League Baseball.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if like I don't know if I should be the one leading that effort. I
I'm not
truly wonder
I
if you're better off getting someone who has a track
no.
record and experience in that space because it is complex and you see a lot of
I
people
think
messing up the launches.
I think you're the best person for the job, Mike.
Well, thank you. But
So
again, like there's a massive like lack of knowledge
I,
though
I'm
in
what that's okay. That's okay.
um
I said 30 minutes. I'm 1 minute over.
that's fine. We always are.
I'll go an extra 4 minutes. I'm supposed to go drop a gift off with a friend, but I'm being much better these days about time
Yeah,
management.
yeah, yeah. Um, all right. Well, I mean, it's a big shift for sure. Uh, it's exciting. I have to like, I gotta absorb it a little bit, I think, and just and figure out, you know,
Do you own the book Read, Write, Own, Mike, or have you read it?
no, I haven't. No.
That would be the what I would suggest.
Yeah. Let me note that I got two things now. Tapped in on Spotify. Read right on.
You'll enjoy the book.
Yeah. When was it? When was that released? It's
Maybe
fairly recent.
1 to 2 years ago.
Yeah. Cool.
But this describes the third era of the internet, right? Because when I was describing tap to people as asset light, Airbnb or
Yeah.
Uber, they understood that. But in hindsight, look at how much money those companies raise.
Hmm.
That's the and if you are the very first house that's on Uber, sorry, very first house that's on Airbnb, or the very first, you there, Mike?
Am I frozen or?
Ah, you froze.
Okay.
If you're the
There you go.
very first house on Airbnb
Yeah.
or you're the first car on Uber, the CEO of those companies made all the money, and the people who hosted and drove the car made nothing comparatively.
Yeah.
So that's where I made the connection finally to the own era of this read, write, own with crypto. I was like, venture capital is dead because the Airbnb and Ubers of the world, the do you remember when everyone was doing a it's this for that? Like
Hmm.
it's Uber for dog walking.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's dead. It's Bitcoin for water.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let me take it away. I gotta dig up that book. Um, yeah. Meanwhile, though, while that is kind of percolating and developing, um, I am assuming you still want me to touch base with Zach if I can get a
or
hold of
just
him and pin him
or
down.
just or just utilize AI somehow to just like woo and like tell the thing to update the database or something.
But I don't even know if he has anything, right? I don't know. We might be
I don't
meeting for no
I
fruitful
don't
reason at all. We'll see. Um, do you have a sense that like he took
no.
meaningful steps there or
No.
no? Okay. But I'll try to pin him down tomorrow, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And we
Forget about it.
yeah. Again, I haven't seen anything that he's done, so there might just be nothing at all. But we'll if I can pin him down, I'll hear him out and then go from there. All right.
I will message you with any other notes and things, the ideas to have done related to the product or whatever, but it's
Yeah.
very obvious to me the API is that re-architecture and the API is the next thing. I'll keep you posted on my trip and the bottles with you and Steven. I'll mail some up to Halifax as long as I don't get any problems with customs or anything. Um, I will um, I will keep you posted of any conversations and developments with um, our investors, and I think that the the thoughts that you will have, the ideas, and I'll share the white paper now. That's the next thing, to be strategic about how we do this, to work together to launch a fundraising process around it, even if it's a deck, even if it's introductions. I mean, I think I will spearhead the beginning of this as the founder. But I am humbly recognizing I'm beyond my um, I'm over my skis, so to
Yeah.
speak, in a certain field. But things like making the idea for the bottle, that I love doing. That's my favorite thing. That's what I'm really good at. So, in that way, I think I will be able to continue to generate new products and um, get the companies around the world to attach as a network node. And I think it starts with wonder and figuring this out. That's the first, back to the very first network node. Now that
Yeah.
it's a entirely different structure.
Yeah. All right.
See you, Mike.
Zoom is keeping us honest. I see
The
that
two.
timer ticking. Yeah.
Oh, you have it on your side too.
Yeah, yeah, it's popped up here now too. All good. All right.
See you, Mike.
Good luck with the
I'm gonna.
hand.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to. I also record these, and I'm gonna send you the notes after because I use an AI app in the background of my computer that sends text notes,
Yeah.
and I've been, I like to publish these on YouTube.
Like and subscribe down below. Until next time. All right. See ya, Sam.
Bye.